Thank you for hitting me up on my Instagram and asking for a reading. Today I'm just going to do a 5 pile or 5 card spread with 3 cards from of my 3 decks. I have a standard tarot here, and then I have 2 oracle card decks. This is like a divine feminine one, and then this one is a dream card deck. So it's like subconscious, inner workings, things like that. But yeah, today I'm going to do a 5 card spread for you. And I know you wanted to know about your purpose, about who you were in your past lives. So I think I'm going to do a pile for who you are now, a pile of who you were before, a pile for your higher self, your ego, and then your physical self now. I think that's it. Or it might be, the last one might be not your might be advice for your physical self now of what you need to do to be getting onto your path, if that makes sense. But yeah. So I'm just gonna sit here and shuffle, and if the piles change, it's just because the cards and the universe are just telling me something different, and so I just kind of go with the flow with the cards in the universe. But yeah, that's just supposed to be kind of a map of what we might talk about, or what we will talk about. Okay. And then, one last one. Beautiful. Okay, I think this is our beginning card for the reading. And if you have any questions about the cards I pull or some of the things I say, feel free to message me, and I can get back to you on those as well. If you want another reading about something specifically that I talked about, I can do that too. But let's get started. So we had a flyaway card to begin with, and this is 25 Native Bee Prosperity. So it's saying that right now you're kind of wrapped up in a lot of your ego. And if you see here, we have flowers, but there's a lot of thorns. So it's this idea that you, and the essence of you, is very beautiful, very intentional, and very life-changing. But because you spend so much time in your ego, you lack all the prosperity. You don't get to see the blooming that's happening, if that makes sense, because you're being preoccupied with different things. You might get angry over something that's happening, but you fail to see that there's something still blooming and growing there, that there's change happening, transformation. So this kind of has to go into gratitude and kind of almost waking up and looking around and seeing everything that you do have, if that makes sense. But yeah. So let's do card number, or set number 1. So this is your of who you were, or who you are now, right now in this life. So we have the High Priestess. We have reversed the Hummingbird Joy. And then we have reversed Courage. So right now, in this life, you have chosen to take a path of almost higher enlightenment, which I feel like you are and you have been doing, just from the messages I've gotten from you, that you've really much dedicated your life to understanding ancient practices and trying to master the mind, the ego, this sense of what else is out there for us, and who are we beyond just our physical materialistic bodies, if that makes sense. So yeah, so you've been really trying to break through a chain, through this wall, and almost meet, I'm getting this visual as being your higher self, of you being your most divine self, and you've been trying to break this barrier that's between you. And you feel like you are, in this image here, I see you are literally just hanging above this reality. Like, you know it's there and you feel like you're hanging right above it and you're trying to reach it and grasp it, but you just don't know how. So we also have reversed courage. So with this, I'm getting that there's like a small part of you that's kind of scared to take that leap, because here we have a sugar glider. So it's like you're very scared to take this leap into this unknown, because it's like you believe it, but you don't know how much. You don't know if your body and yourself is physically supposed to be in that type of enlightenment. So that kind of scares you. But again, they're just saying the universe is just telling me that you really need to be courageous, and you really need to consider, like, you see all the good that's there because you're hanging above. You can see it all down there. They're just saying that they really want you to let go and take that leap, because there's so much joy in what you have found in the enlightenment that you're seeking. Like, you are truly being able to bloom. And they want you to know that you are being protected at all times. Like, making this jump and going deeper into your spirituality isn't going to be dangerous, because you have a guide, you have people watching over you. Like, you are protected, and you protect yourself. Like, you underestimate how much you can protect your own self. So yeah, so that's you right now. So then we have who you were in the past. So we have reversed 8 of Cups, we have celebration, and we have knowledge. So in the past, you very much were a person who held the story. I'm getting like a sense that you were like a griot or some type of person in your community that was a storyteller that held all the stories. And so you had this connection. You were part of this main almost network of people and ancestors who all their roles before you were also to spread knowledge and to keep the history of your people in general. So like I'm seeing, like, you had access to all these branches, to all these leaves. You had access to like the source of life that was rooted in reality and was almost like this proof to you that like this was real. And you celebrated very much in this knowledge. Like, you spread this knowledge and gave this knowledge to others. You told people all the possibilities they were. You were a teacher. You really just wanted to give resources to people. But then we have the reversed. So we have reversed 8 of Cups. And to preface this, I don't read tarot like other people read tarot. A lot of people read tarot off of the meaning of the card, whereas this is why I like oracle cards more, is because I read off of visuals that I'm getting, because the visuals are then messages from source, from spirit, from whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so this is 8 of Cups, but feel free to look up the card as well if that may help you, but I'm just reading the images that I'm getting. So 8 of Cups. So with this image, so it's kind of like you in the past have been this knowledge bearer, but at the same time you've been reaching, like leaping, you've been chasing, like as you being a cat, you've been chasing these ideas or these thoughts that not necessarily are true to what your purpose is, if that makes sense. Like, you're getting sidetracked. Like, you have done such a great job in your past lives collecting the knowledge and the resources that you need in order to transcend, to reach your transcendence. Which I don't know if you know anything about transcendence, I'm sure you do, but like of you finishing your teaching here on earth and moving on to something else, to being a spiritual being that leads all of us into enlightenment, or choosing to help others transcend as well. But you have been gathering all this knowledge to transcend, but you are almost reaching and searching for something else that you don't need. I don't know if this has been ego led, like there's something in your ego that makes you think you need to go and chase this one specific thing, because you don't need to be chasing it, because everything that you need you already have. And what you need to be doing is looking at it in a different perspective. As we see in the card, this is upside down. And so I'm getting that, like, it's almost like if you turn this right side up, like you get a full visual of the moon. You're getting a ground of you jumping up instead of falling, because this is like this idea of falling. Like if you look at this at a whole different perspective, you will see that you are reaching something that is out of reach, and that what's down here is what you can have, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any freaking sense, but yeah. So then we're going to move on to, so we had, I think this is going to be the higher self in general, of who your higher self is. So your higher self, again, is somebody who is just an extension of your being that is not tied to the human experience. So it's like your more spiritual self, if that makes sense. And it's somebody that you are and that exists within you. So you are this. So we have judgment, we have patience, and we have reversed rebirth. Okay, cool. So I'm getting, well, first of all, I'm getting that your higher self is someone that really is rooted in the sense of calm, of serenity, of enlightenment. In this image, I'm getting like this is you on the shore and your higher self is over here. Like you are very centered, very calm. Your higher self is really moving towards this idea of enlightenment and this idea of transcendence. And your higher self is really pushing for this rebirth. Your higher self feels like right now it's your time to have this transformation and to move into a whole different part of your soul journey. Like for years and lifetimes you've been collecting knowledge, but now it's your time to actually put that knowledge into action, if that makes sense. They want you to start it's like also like with the number 3 here, 3 being they want you to be aligned with your spirit guide, your higher self, and your conscious self, your physical body. Like they want all these 3 things to come together, to meld together in order to grow into this new being, almost, if that makes sense. Like you're ready, like the best I can explain is like you're ready to level up, like you want to level up. With this idea of the bushfire, like there's this burning, so you might feel like you're kind of awkward right now because your higher self is pushing you to let go and to shed old and past parts of yourself that have made you comfortable in this lifetime, but they're not making you grow. They're not helping you transcend. Like these are safety nets to combat this fear of change that you're kind of up against at the moment. But yeah, and then we have judgment. So So I'm getting a lot of things with this card. This is okay. So first of all, I'm getting that like your higher self, like a thing your higher self also needs to work on is the fact that they really much feel like this is all a test. They feel like the whole universe is testing them, that they need to pass all these stages, that they need to get to this finish line, that they need to shed this skin to transform, to be something new in order to get to this transcendence. That somebody's always going to be, that there's going to be this judgment day almost, to where the universe is going to prove whether or not you are worthy enough to become a transcendent. But to be honest, like this isn't a test. You're not being tested on how well you can incorporate all of these practices and spiritual masters into your life. That's not the test. The test is to see if you can, in this environment, in this human existence, can learn what you need to learn and proceed with love, with patience, with empathy, and in order for you to move to this next level. Like it's not about, I even hate saying leveling up, but it's not about leveling up. Like I'm also getting this image of like these birds, like you naturally are going to rise. All of us, all of humankind are naturally supposed to rise up to this enlightenment, but there are things in our environment, like the way we live our life, the society we live in, that hold us down. But with that said, we all are capable of moving up. So it's never a judgment day. It's never the universe judging our actions. It's just us doing and learning from every single thing we do. Because there's nothing bad. There's nothing ever good. There's not good or bad, evil or heavenly or whatever. Like everything comes from source, everything comes from spirit, and at the end of the day, like some things are just more uncomfortable than others. But those uncomfortable things teach us so many things in order to incorporate our lives into us becoming more enlightened and better people in general. So it's that. Okay, so we had current self, past self, higher self. And then I think this is going to be, so this is going to be like your spirit guide. So the person who's leading you right now. And then what you need to be doing to get onto this path. Okay, so your spirit guide. Ooh. Okay, this explains a lot. Okay, so this is a 3 of Swords. It doesn't matter. But we have an image of this person cutting a flower. We have reversed a Shone, Harmony. And we have reversed bare feet. This totally makes sense. Okay. So, and I don't know what past life this was, but you decided that you learned so much, you gained so much knowledge that you didn't need your spirit guide anymore. You basically were like, I'm cutting this connection because I don't need you to be telling me what to do. Like, I know what to do because I've done my own research. I did my own knowledge. Like, I know. Which then leads back to why you've been jumping up in the air and doing nonsense, because you're not listening to your freaking spirit guide. So basically, like, you've been thinking, like, cut off the flower part of this. You've been thinking, damn, I have this stem of thorns that keeps just poking me and poking me and poking me, and I hate it, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing, you know? But really, the thorns are attached to this flower, to this rose that it's blooming and growing. Like, you didn't want to take the time to look at what, like I said again, like I said before, the things in your life that might seem bad, that might feel uncomfortable, those are the thorns. And they all led to this idea of this flower, of this blooming, of change, of transformation. Like, you were on that right path, but you cut it short because you're like, nah, this isn't good. Like, I could do this faster. I could do this better. This goes into reversed a Shone, Harmony. Like, you're like, I have all this under control. Like, I can do this. But if you look at the image here, like, she's upside down. It's almost as if she's in disarray. Like, she's, like, we see all these spots and we see, like, these images of, like, wings and,